It's Trash and Treasure Hunting Toy Time Special Edition. One of my spies in a suburb gave me a call and said, Leo, the suburb next to yours, which is having its wintertime curbside cleanup, has got some awesome toys up for grabs. It was worthwhile venturing into enemy territory to see what toy wonderment was being thrown out as trash. Considering my local curbside cleanup was fairly industrial, but industrial in a good way, the neighbouring suburb was showing a very different clearing out dynamic. In my previous trashy video, I showed a whirlybird and that caused quite a few questions, so we are going to investigate and explain whirlybirds in this video. But I think my audience is going to be most impressed with what I'm calling the Thomas and Friends Find of the Century. Who in their right mind would throw out one of the all-time classic Thomas and Friends playsets? It's all wet, soggy and thrown out, but don't worry, I found it. Okay, let's do it. Before we get going, we're going to remember some toys that I found in my local winter curbside cleanup. It was the wonderful Tonka toys that was a garbage truck and a fire engine. These toys were copyright 2010 Hasbro toys made in Vietnam. I remember saying at the time they still had a lot of play in them. The only thing I didn't like about them was a little bit too plastic for my liking. They had lights and sounds actions, they were nice large scale, they were pretty good toys to find thrown out on the rubbish piles. Now to my utter shock and surprise, at the mid-year winter time Christmas toy sales, I know that's going to confuse lots of people overseas, I do live in Australia, I find these toys for sale and they are $49 each. Now that's a saving of $30, so add $49 plus $30 gives you $79 full price. This toy sale was at a retailer in Australia called Big W. Sadly, I've got to travel halfway across Sydney to get to my nearest Big W. I do like Big W's toy section. They've got a great range of toys, a huge Lego area, and sometimes I've found Thomas and Friends Gold there, but it seems like Paw Patrol is creeping into Thomas territory. I do notice they've got Toy Mania toy testers. Now, do you see my name or my face in amongst that? No, and I think that's a big problem. So in seeing these toys for sale in store, it starts to give you a very different feeling about seeing those toys out in the rubbish pile. I picked up those two toys, I used them in the thumbnail of the other video. They are fantastic toys. Now I've had a closer look at them, but I got a big surprise to see them for sale and how much they are, even at a discounted price. And just between you and me, the garbage truck is the pick of the two. It's got a nice featured cab, it's got a little person you can play with. It's fantastic. Mind you, I am a fairly trashy person. Ooh, I can see a Nerf gun there. I can see a steam mop there, and I said, do not touch those. And as I come along here, I'm hoping to find some Thomas and Friends glory. Oh, there's actually a steamer there. Look at that, that's a steamer for your clothes. I get sidetracked so easily, don't I, on weird, unusual things. But let's not look at the steamer. Let's take a look down in that box there. Looks like a Happy Meals sort of thing there. An airport playset. Fisher Price one. That's quite nice, isn't it? So sad that charity shop is gone. Because that's exactly what you would have found in there. Yes! Thomas and Friends glory! It's one of those light up Thomases. I've got lots of these, but hey, I like to have lots and lots more. These are a very common Thomas toy. I can't get this one to go. I'm just hoping the batteries have been taken out and it's going to be saved. But that's a nice, beautiful Thomas for my Thomas collection. Choo-hoo! Now looking down here, I can see a helicopter. I dare say that helicopter played on that little playset there. Well, it's playing there for me. I can see a toy like this. It's a little people Fisher Price thing. Okay, maybe that played up there as well. We can make anything happen here because that's the way I work. Our little tykes, little bulldozer guy. It's quite nice, isn't it? It's so sad it's on the rubbish pile. It's too nice to throw out, but hey, sadly that's the way it seems to work. And there's all sorts of other odd bods in there that children's sandcastles, blah blah. What's that one there? Octonauts, little lunch box. Sometimes inside these there'll be a little bit of gold or some spiders. No, it's one of those Russian doll things. I think that's a cheapie. The nice ones have elaborate painting. But what is curious and catching my eye is a Toy Story. That's a Viewmaster disc. Yeah, Viewmasters were big back when I was a kid. I don't know whether they really ever took off again. Yeah, what else is down here? The Toy Glory actually just keeps on giving. That is, I believe, from a Happy Meal toy. I think they were from McDonald's Happy Meals. Hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, you'll be screaming, oh, how do you know? Oh, cool. Here's the Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever Spider can. Yeah. That's a very, very cool Spider-Man. Looks like he was slinging some sort of web thing there. Very, very cool Spider-Man. But look, it's the way things fall these days. People will just basically, well, your child plays with it. It doesn't really get passed on. We live in this throwaway society. But don't worry, guess who's coming with me? That's right, Thomas is. I've come back to this pile and there was a steamer there that I was impressed with and got highly distracted by. Thank goodness it's been picked up. It looked too good to be true, and I noticed there's some more toys that have been put out here. Okay, now that was a tub that I looked at yesterday. It was quite late in the day. Let's take a look what's going on in there. I'll just move this away. Mind you, I may have to beep that word out because it might trigger all sorts of weirdness on this very, very kooky site. I'll take a look in here. A lot of this stuff is very wet. It did rain a lot. Okay, there's a Minion there. I think that's a knockoff. It might be a little bit for this side as well. And there's another word I'll probably have to bleep out. There's a Viewmaster there. A more modern version. The classic ones, it relates back to what I saw yesterday. The Toy Story Viewmaster. Crikeys, that is worth keeping. Here we go. There's a nice little robot here of some toy variety. I've just got a car up beside me making horrible gearbox noises. I think the gears are left on the ground now. Just digging deeper here. You never know what you're going to find, do you? This is Toy Glory. It's Cookie Monster. Okay? Sort of looks a little bit sun affected and whatnot. Okay, we're getting some real toy goodness here. Some sort of Beatley thing here. Okay, just digging here. Looks like a set of roller wheels that you attach to your shoes and then break your skull open. Some weird thing there. A little smiley emoji thing there we don't want to know about. Oh, a world globe thing here. This might be educational. Let me try and drag this up. I've got this out. It's a VTech toy. Wow, this is quite an elaborate thing, an electronic thing. I dare say you learnt all about things on the globe. It's funny, in that other very, very long trash video I did, I found a globe on the side of the road and I spoke about the relationship of countries and where we are in Australia versus England and all the rest of it. It probably triggered some people. This is very general. There you go. It shows Europe, Africa. Hopefully it's showing Africa in the right size. There's actually a whole slab of stuff that I cut out of the other video and I never showed it. I talked about Africa's size. There's Australia way down there. Very curious, isn't it? And you know, I like learning on the sphere because you get to see the world for as it really is. Maybe the thing I don't like about that is they've got it set so it's the equinox. Okay, we haven't got the tilt showing on the earth there, which gives us our seasons, and that might be an educational component of this video or else you get flagged off the site. Battery cover's missing. One part of me is semi-curious to take that home, and another part of me is saying, well, just leave it here in the trash pile. I'll do another dive here, some sort of, I don't know, witch's broom or something there. It looks like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type hat. I have got, well, or a magician thing. It's like a magic thing, I think, but for some reason I thought of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with that. It might be, you know, reach in there and pull a rabbit out of my hat sort of thing. I'm sure the audience will correct me if I'm totally wrong, and I'm always wrong. Little bubble machine here. Sort of generic looking thing, but it's on the rubbish pile. They say it's battery powered. Yep. Okay. I don't think there's much else in here. Oh, here we are. Back in the day, I used to get magazines like this to get, often the CDs or DVDs had all the programs that you really needed. And of course, well, it's out in the rubbish pile. I do put everything back to as I've found it. I don't leave stuff trashed around, laying everywhere. Oh, the bubble machine just turned on. See, miracles do happen when you chuck stuff around. There you go. Let's take a look at that. Bubble machine's still working. All it needs is a bit of, well, bubble mix, or maybe it's stuck. There is a reason why people throw stuff out. Put the beetle away. Oh, that bubble machine's really making noise. Part of me's thinking, do I need that globe? Well, another part of me thinking, nope, I don't need it. I've got to stop this. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, that's fixed it. I just smashed it into South America. That would fix anything. Okay, we've got one of these. This is another basket here. Clickety clacking. This is where I look myself in the face. Got a great big spider. Oh yeah, because where I live, everything's spiderific. I think it's one of the remote controlled ones. Maybe I'll find the remote, maybe I won't. I think it's missing a leg. It's just like all the redbacks in my area. Missing a leg. Oh, there's the leg there. Okay, maybe that's why it's on the rubbish pile. Anyway, getting back on track here, there is a tin with like a bit of a Happy Meal thing in there. Okay, and other whatnot. There is a Barbie here. I believe it's a Barbie. I think, I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me. I was thinking if it's a Happy Meal toy had Barbies, little Barbies like that once. One of those things that were often you saw trying to get you at the checkouts, you know, cheapy checkout sort of stuff that you don't really want to know about. A set of golf clubs, because we all want to be Tiger Woods in the future, don't we? Okay, and that's attached to something else there, getting a little bit untidy. Put it down there. But what I'm here and what I sort of peeking at, what I'm curious about is this Lightning McQueen. So if you don't know, I am a Lightning McQueen collector, and I've never seen anything like this. It's nice and light. I do believe it's a real McCoy thing. I can see Mickey Mouse ears there because it's a Disney thing. It says Disney Pixar there, I think. The other thing I see there, I think it says Disney Park, so that's starting to tell me this is potentially from Disneyland. It's weird, it's like a thing that you carry like that, but I'm just trying to work out, why do you have a McQueen that's like a little bag? I've never seen anything like that, and because I haven't got one, I'm actually quite pleased to have it. I think this is depicting Lightning McQueen from Cars 2, the one that people seem not to want to talk about. They want to talk about Cars 1 and Cars 3. Nice little pickup, I like that a lot. Anyway, I'm still diving into this one, maybe a couple of other things to take a look at. Like a younger children's toy here. It's looking nice and clean, which is unusual for my suburb. Normally there's spiders through everything. Another Minion here, and I'm sort of thinking this is, it might be licensed actually. I was almost going to say knockoff. It does have tags there. There's a closer look at the tags. I think that's legit. You want to see Universal Studios and stuff like that to work out whether you got a real McCoy Minion. Mind you, I have seen the knockoff stuff which has tags that, well, emulate what you see on the real McCoy toys, and that's going to totally confuse you, isn't it? Getting into some real small stuff here, and I think it really is, well, it becomes trash down here. Maybe, I can see a Charlie Brown. I think they were Happy Meal toys. This is going to really stretch me here. And, you know, it just reminds me of when we had the charity shop. I want to sound like a broken record, but there used to be stacks and stacks of Happy Meal toys that went through that. I can see something quite curious here. Let's take a look at that one there. It's, wow, that's quite nice. It's a Buzz Lightyear, and it's a different coloured Buzz. Maybe the Buzz Lightyear toy fans can tell me about that. I quite like that indeed. Maybe a few other items in here, and it's strange, I can see that relates back to the Viewmaster. That's what the discs come in. There was a disc in the other box from last night. I can see this here. That's a retailer in Australia that sells a lot of goofy sort of stuff for children. Goofy in a nice way. You always got to be nice these days. Oh, that's very curious, isn't it? Look at that there. That's just had a mental blank. What's the name of that dragon? I think that's a Skylander, and it had me looking around at this very carefully. I'm hoping I'm correct here. I also think this is a Happy Meal toy. I can barely read the small writing on the bottom of this. It's so tiny. I can see made in China. I think I can see McDonald's. So I think that is a Skylander Happy Meal toy. You know, someone might be very, very impressed by that, but, well, personally, I'm not. That's going to trigger all the Skylander fans. Sorry about that, Skylander fans, but you're ending up over there, nice and gently, of course. Yes, I don't think there's much else in here that's worth taking a look at. I think really all the rest of it in here. Oh, there we go. Bit of a Christmas treat. I think they were from Aldi from memory. I don't think there's much else in here. A lot of small stuff. You probably say, oh, but Leo, I can see such and such. And hey, isn't that the Great Eagle from Angry Birds movie? Or have I got that wrong there? I think it is. It's a nice little find, actually. And it's funny, you can get a bit of a feel for what we're dealing with here. I think we're dealing with what would have been a little girl. I just think. You know, there's lots of little telltale signs that go on. I can see down here another little minion. Okay, yeah, little small things, small fry things. Whew. Thank goodness that's out of my hands. What's this one here? If I see a little Superman, someone who collects Superman will say, oh, but Leo, this worth thousands of dollars. Secret Life of Pets. It's really testing me, this one here, because I'm just grabbing at things. Okay, it's most probably a Happy Meal type thing. And really, do we want to see any more? Do I want to show off my prowess of what I know and don't know? Okay, here we go here. I dare say it's a Happy Meal toy. I have got no idea. It's that Dracula girl at, I almost had it, Hotel Transylvania. Am I right? Am I wrong? My daughter loved that show. It was an animation one, CGI. I think that's what that is. I'm hoping I'm right. I think these days there's so many franchises, so many movies, and to get your head around all of it is virtually impossible. There's one here worth taking a look at, I believe, and it's Hello Kitty. Okay, it looks very much like a baby sort of thing because that's there. It's quite nice, isn't it, if you like Hello Kitty? Mind you, I do get impressed by, well, the very simplest things in life. I just had someone give me a very dirty look across the road and they're saying, what are you doing looking through that rubbish? Well, I'm looking for some piggies. That's from the Angry Birds movie. I think they've made another one now. I don't know why, because I didn't think the first one was that successful. Yeah, I think that was a Happy Meal toy. I hope I'm right there. I think I preferred Angry Birds when the things didn't have arms and legs, and that piggy's got arms and legs. I called it Angry Chickens once I started getting extra growths on them. And there's the last thing I'll take a look at. I mean, I could go on forever. There is this here, and it caught my eye, and I've got no idea. I'm thinking Captain Nemo for some reason, because it's a very, very unusual looking craft here. Very unusual, and it just, like I said, you got that many franchises and things these days. It is virtually impossible to understand everything that goes on. Here I will put things back and balance things out, and I always think back to when we had a charity shop. It's been gone for about 2 years now. A car like that would have been, let's say, $1 or $2. Even things like that would sell if they were complete. You know, something like that may have been tricky to sell because I have got no idea what it is. I think it's a magic thing. Often electronic toys, if they were working, sold, and they were often quite cheap. I'm not keeping that. You thought I was, but I'm not. And I think they may have balanced it out and made it look a little bit more presentable. Just in the tidying up, a little bit more magic appeared to me. It's a pinball machine, a very small toy one, unfortunately heavily affected by water, so you can't see the toy glory going on in there. But this plush Mater, it's like Team McQueen because of the 95 there. It's quite a curious one. There would be people out there who collect Mater, and I dare say that is a nice special variation on a theme. Unfortunately, the thing is just wringing wet. Okay, it looks like from Cars 2. Yeah, in my mind, that's quite special. I quite like that Mater. Okay, here's a bit of an update about an insurance problem that someone was having. That was the house there that had the dodgy roof patch repair that nobody ever wants, and it's always going to look ugly. They had a battle with the insurance company, and they have got a beautiful metal roof. But why do people have to go through these battles to get what should have been done in the first place? I've got this really bad habit. When I start looking around on rubbish piles, I just can't stop. And I think I've found some more toy glory here. I think there's some really, really good stuff there. But let me just answer one of the queries, or many queries. I showed one of these in the other very, very long rubbish video. I call that a whirlybird, and a few people got a bit confused about exactly what that is. This is a plastic one. This isn't as nice as the metal one that I featured in the other video. Now what this is, it goes up on top of a roof of a house, and it's basically passive ventilation. They're not powered, and if there's any heat in the house, they will be, basically the heat will rise. Hope you learned something there. Goes up through there, and the heat comes out of here, and often you'll see them up on the house spinning like that. I did use the term whirlybird. Maybe if I said like roof ventilator, then it may have made more sense, but it was enough people asking about one of those to come in and take a closer look at another one. Well, I'll tell you what is on this rubbish pile here? Lots and lots of toys, stacks of things. There's a few things that I recognised immediately. A nice little trash pack toy, which became, is it the Garbage Gang? That's quite nice. There's bits missing from that. It's still got play in it. It's a trash toy on the trash piles. There is like a knockoff Hot Wheels set here. I'm saying knockoff in the nicest term, and I think the set's in there. But of course it's been raining, everything's sopping wet. It's like the booster that you find on Hot Wheels sets, but that is not Hot Wheels. Nice little trucks here. There's nothing wrong with this stuff here. It's got plenty of play left in it. A little like toy laptop. I think it's got a theme of the Dark Knight, something like that. Does that bring back some memories for you? I can see it still sort of works. I'm just trying to hack in a new password, but nah, no luck. Now there's stacks and stacks of toys here, I can tell you, and well, put it this way, I think this has been laying out here for some time because it's all wet. There's a remote control Spider-Man toy there. I dare say the remote is somewhere if I dug around for it. There is this robot here. I know there are people who collect robots, I don't, but they probably really like that. Wow. Yeah, I like that a lot. Actually, I'm not going to pick it up. It's sad. I think it's just sad to see that in the rubbish piles. This is just toy crazy. There are bags and bags and bags of all sorts of toys. I'm not sure whether that's AFX. Little planes like that. You know, it's like a whole childhood in a bag there. Okay, memories, hey? All out in the rubbish pile. Stacks of stuff. I mean, stacks of stuff. More bags down here. Just quite incredible. You know, a lot of this stuff looks generic, but I can see brand stuff as well. Just so much stuff. Incredible. I can see a playmat here as well. It looks like just a generic one. I'm not seeing any brand on that, but what has really impressed me is what's inside that box right there. Okay, this could be one of the greatest finds that I've ever had in the rubbish pile. This is classic stuff. It's TOMY Blue Track. There's Bulstrode. Man, this is unbelievable. There's a Thomas there. Oh man, it is waterlogged. It's got character. I'm very impressed by this. I can see parts of this playset like that. It could be, you know, that giant Thomas set like I had that I never built up for you. I can see this box here. It's gonna rip if I try and get that out. This is a fantastic find. This is one of the greatest finds that I've found. I tell you what, there is just TOMY Thomas stuff in there all the way to the bottom. I've carefully got this cardboard here. I don't think it's going to last long, and this is going to tell us possibly what's inside the box. Let me just lay this out nice and flat. There you go. Do you know that playset there? I dare say it's a classic, because I tell you what, you can't get stuff like that anymore. That looks totally awesome. I can see a name there, Thomas and Cranky Deluxe Action Set. This is an incredible find. Absolutely incredible. And you know, that other very, very long rubbish pile video I did, I wasn't finding much Thomas stuff, but I tell you what, this is going to make up for it. Now my challenge is to try and get this box out of this other box without getting it ripped apart and it dropping out the bottom. Please wish me luck. Okay, I successfully got that box out. There's a lot of Thomas Blue Track stuff in there. And quite curiously, I found this Hot Wheels piece, and I've got no idea what this looks like. It's like a fly swat thing. Or did it make the car jump up in the air? There are that many variations on Hot Wheels stuff. It is quite unbelievable. I'm not interested in that at all. Guess where it goes? Back on the rubbish pile. You know, I've got many, many Thomas the Tanks. I've got many which are like this, but I'll always remember this one for the way I found him. He's going to be easy to remember because of the way he's been discoloured on top. I dare say he's had a bit of sun. And what's a little bit scary was he was only, let's say, hours away from being in the back of the garbage compactor and sent to scrap. And maybe you're wondering, where are the office chairs, Leo? You didn't show us an office chair in this pile of rubbish. Well, I can easily fix that. There's one right there. I'd never hate to disappoint you. Well, I got the box of TOMY stuff home. The box busted open in the back of the car, and that revealed all sorts of other things that were hiding away there. You can see what's going on there. Some little toy kitchen stuff, electric fans, some more toy kitchen stuff, all sorts of bits and bobs to the TOMY roadway system. And I started to sort out the Tommy set away from the other toys, and then I started to notice, wow, there's actually 2 sets of Annie and Clarabelle, and lo and behold, dun dun dun, guess what? There was actually 2 Thomas the Tanks hiding away inside that box. Yay! I love the Tommy Thomases. You can never get enough of those. Fantastic toy in many ways. A black troublesome truck I noticed here as well. Any Tommy troublesome truck is a joy to have because it's got a fantastic looking face. Just do a very quick appraisal of this other Thomas. It looks like it's in better condition. It's not sun affected like that first Thomas that I saw. Underneath looking pretty good. The traction tyres are in good nick. The coupling's there. Look at the detailing on the front of that you don't see these days, hey? Yes, that is a fantastic Thomas, and it feels like it's got battery. Sometimes they'll come to life if you give them a bit of a tap. No, it probably needs to go into some decent care. Get the water out of it, and it might come good. Really nice find. It's very rare that I'll come across something this nice on the rubbish piles. Certainly something to look after, and if you see this stuff being thrown out, definitely grab it. It does have a good resale price if it's in fairly good nick. Yeah, Tommy glory, man. Tommy glory. Do you remember the Sunbeam Mixmaster that was retro looking, although it's not that old, that I found in my local winter curbside cleanup? Curiously, I found one which was the exact same model as a display item in an IKEA store. They do look fantastic, and I think that's why it's there. Now remember, I've got this saying that what's being thrown out has messages for us. The rubbish piles speak to me, and it had me looking at the product review related to that Sunbeam Mixmaster, and my crikey Charlies, have I uncovered a very curious story, and that will form a video about that Sunbeam Mixmaster and what's being said online about that particular model. Maybe I should ask my audience, does anyone out there have one of these wondrous and beautiful Sunbeam Mixmasters? Tell me your thoughts about this appliance. And curiously, I noticed that they are still for sale. Yes, I might have to go out and buy one and mix up some cakes with it. I know one thing, I'll be looking forward to licking those beaters.